Hey everybody, today I'm going to make a video of how I actually make my videos and post them to YouTube. I use a program called DaVinci Resolve. I love it. They're in version 18 now. They do regular updates and it's completely free. So I thought I'd let you come along with me and watch how I make an entire project from scratch. This is not a full tutorial of Resolve, but in case you're not familiar with the program, I think this will certainly motivate you to download a copy of it. I have used things like iMovie and Final Cut and even Adobe Premiere, and I really like DaVinci Resolve. It's just a very, very stable program. It's very robust and it works great for my needs. So this little toolbar down here at the bottom is the workflow that I'm going to use, and I'm going to go across. So I'm going to start off by bringing in the content. So the first place is I got to bring in my media. So I'm going to click this little icon to import media, and I'm going to go to my raw recordings and grab the file that I'm going to be working on. Now it says here that the frame rate that I recorded in is different from the project timeline. My project timeline is set for, I think, 24 frames, but this is 60 frames per second. So I will say change and it will capture that. Now that I have that in here, there's a couple more things that I want to get. And that is going to come from my E.R.I.C VTuber graphics and animations folder. So I want to grab in my outro. I want to grab in a couple transitions and the lower third, as well as my intro. Very good. So now I've got those additional files in here as well. Let me just show you what those are. So I'm going to go down here. Now I've moved to the timeline area, and I'm just going to drag in my outro. So my outro is a standard outro. You've probably seen it in my videos. Looks like this. Now for files that you use like this on a regular basis, the smartest thing for me to do is to put it in a smart bin, because then it's always available to me. But I need to do that when you guys aren't watching. I'll take care of that. Next one that I use a lot is my intro. Looks like this. And I'll go through one of my transitions. And then lastly, I'll bring in my subscribe animation, which looks like this. And the thing I've done with all of these is the sound levels are exactly right for me to use them inside of a video. So those are 4 files that I bring in for every one of the videos that I'm working on. And I'll just want to show you those because I will use them in a bit. But now I've got to do my main editing, which is the file that I made for you guys talking about the roadmap for the channel. If you notice, I've got a couple different audios because I'm exporting computer sounds as well as my narration. And so I'm just going to hold down the Alt button, click here, and click the backspace button, not the delete button, but the backspace button to get rid of these because I don't need them. If I had computer sounds during the edit, then I would have kept them in. Now, this is how I scrub, just grabbing the little red bar right here. And I'm going to chop off obviously everything in the beginning because I don't need it. Now, once I drag that across, if I click this area and hit backspace again, it just shifts everything to the left. Now, the reason I'm going to delete some of this is watch. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is, and I didn't want to start that way. So I did a couple different edits, and then it looks like I finally got it right here. Let's see. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the channel. All right, so that is where that edit is. So what I then do is go through and make all the edits that I need to. Now, this is, it's a fairly time-consuming process, but I just want to show you guys some of the basics, and then I'll finish working on the video without dragging you through the full edit. But let me show you. So for example, right here, I know I want to cut this out. So I come up here and I grab the razor blade, and I just click where the red line is, and then I can eat that up to where I want it to go, which was right there. And then click in this area, hit backspace again. And so now I've made an edit. So from here, I did on the YouTube channel. Let me show it to you. So I knew just from looking at the sound that I had paused speaking there. And when you record your videos, it's really helpful for you to not make any sound and noise, because that way, when you look at your videos and you scrub along, these little blanks like here, I know I should be putting in a cut because I'm not going to need that section. So literally what I'll first do on my pass is I'll go through and I'll kind of watch the video. Now this one, let's see, if I look at it in its raw format, it was about 7 minutes long. So I'll watch the whole thing. And as I go through it, any place that I need to make a cut, I just take the razor blade and cut it as I'm watching it. And that way I can go in and trim left or trim to the right, or you can hold here and just roll it. And super easy to do. So you make all your cuts just like you're cutting out film. It does not destroy the original file, by the way. This is called non-linear editing. If you need to adjust the sound levels, you can come down here to the sound bar and do that. But a super easy editor. Once I do all my edits, maybe I want to add a transition. So maybe right here, when I said, let me show it to you, I can take my transition and put it right here. Now watch what that looks like. That I did on the YouTube channel. Let me show it to you. So I put this poll out, which you can see, I probably want to bring that in just a little bit. See how it's snapping as I move it? If I take this little magnet and move that off, no more snapping. Let's watch it again. Show it to you. So I put this poll out, there we go. So that edit is done. So I go through the file, I make all the edits like you have seen if you've watched this video in the final one. And then there's a few things that I want to add. So I will add my ending sequence, which is to promote the next videos. And then maybe I do want to add a subscribe reminder. I do think that I mentioned this in the video early on. Let me just hit this little minus and zoom down. And what's funny is, as you're seeing me kind of do this, I will be editing all of this out. So you'll see me get right to the place where I want to put that subscribe animation. And so let's put it right there where I'm talking about making it easy to subscribe. Although all you have to do is click my head and it will say subscribe. So if I put that right here, if you notice, and that would really mean a lot to me, it's huge. So once you have a video selected, a segment, you can come over right here and this will enable you to size it. You can either crop it or transform it or do even what's called the dynamic zoom, which is often called like the Ken Burns effect. So let me just take this and shrink it. And I'm going to put it right here. So now when it gets to that, this is like a layer. So bottom is the video. On top of it is the animation. My little head in the bottom right makes it very easy to subscribe. And that would really mean a lot to me because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. And there you go. Now, one of the ways the cropping tool is super handy is right now I'm talking about this pole or VTubing, even though it was a very, I'm talking about it, but it's in the distance. It's hard for them to see. So what I'm going to do is put the playhead right here where I'm really starting to talk specifically about the pole results. Click the blade, and then now using the transform with that selected, I will just grab this anchor down here in the lower right and zoom in and make that almost full screen so it's easy for the audience, aka you, to understand. Tubing, even though it was a very small sample size, only 15 people responded so far, it's about a third about games, a third. All right, so you get that where cropping can pull in super important technique that you need to know. All right, now that I've finished with my edit, added in the final subscribe, I'm going to grab my outro. I like to do that when I'm all done because I'm always shifting stuff to the right, and that way it doesn't mess with this. So we're all done, and that's my entire edit. Let me just shrink it down now. Good thing I took a look. It's way out here. But the whole thing is about, what, 5 minutes, 52 seconds. Scroll back. I normally do a last little pass through to make sure there's no gaps. Everything looks good. And we're done. So now all I need to do for the rendering is click down here with a little rocket ship. That will take me to the render area. I'll give it a name, which we'll just call this for now editor shortcuts. I'll add the render to the queue. Right there is fine. That's where it's going to save it. And then I click over here on render all. I'm running a pretty high-end PC with an NVIDIA 3080 for right now. I am building a new PC with a 4090, but watch this. I hit render all, and voila, it is rendering the video, moving through, and it's about 10% done in 5 seconds. So it looks like it's going to be done with the entire render, a 5-minute video, in just about a minute. Very fast rendering. I do have a good PC, but DaVinci Resolve is really good in terms of their rendering speed. All right, you guys, well, that is going to do it. The next thing after the render is done, I'm just going to upload it to YouTube, and I'm assuming you guys know how to do that, but if you haven't already done that and you want to learn that, hey, let me know, and I can make a video on that as well. Thanks for watching.